This video is to give you a good example of why 93% of traders fail. And this is not the biggest reason, but this is one of the biggest reasons. And it's also one of the biggest reasons why trading is difficult. This is a chart post from somebody who's constantly regurgitating all of that ICT fundamental garbage that's useless when you finally learn what's really going on in the charts. And everybody's being brainwashed by all of the same garbage that constantly gets regurgitated over and over. And all of this fundamental jargon that's constantly being pushed and spewed everywhere is part of what makes trading extremely difficult. When there are things going on inside the charts that when you finally see them, you'll realize that it makes trading child's play. And when you finally see it, you can't unsee it. And then when you finally do see what's really going on inside the charts, you're going to realize that all of this fundamental garbage is just a waste of time. And then you're going to realize that you've been brainwashed by it. But all of this fundamental garbage that people are constantly pushing like this just makes trading extremely difficult. I mean, look at this chart. You've got FVG, okay, fair value gap, FVG, look at all this stuff, all this, the red lines, this BMS stuff, OB, macro, SSL, all these lines, you got nothing but candles showing up here, when you could be looking at this thing a little bit differently and seeing what's going on here at a glance instead of having to know all of this garbage, waste of time stuff here. Buy side liquidity. You don't need to know any of this stuff in order to know what's going on here. And when you finally see what's really going on here, you can just glance at a chart like this and you'll know exactly what's going on and you'll know where you're going to make your entry point. But everybody's all brainwashed and conditioned by that fundamental garbage that's constantly regurgitated out there. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And you can pause this video at any time and read all of this here if you want to, but I'm just going to explain some things going on here. You've probably seen this curve sign on the road, and every time you see it, all you see is this curve sign right here that tells you that it's going around a corner or around a curve or almost a U-turn. And that's all you see because that's all you're conditioned to see. Your entire life, you've been conditioned to see that as a black arrow telling you where to go. And what you may not have realized is that inside of that curve sign is a golden bird's head. And if you never knew that before, now that you see this golden bird's head, you can't unsee it. And every time you see one of these signs, all you're going to see is that golden bird's head. So you've been conditioned your entire life to see one thing when there's something else going on in there that you probably didn't know about. And it's just the same thing with this chart right here. You're being conditioned to look at all of this fundamental garbage that's a waste of time when there's something else going on inside this chart that's so easy to see and understand that all you got to do is glance at it and you'll know exactly what to do. And you won't need to know any of that fundamental garbage at all whatsoever. And you won't even have to use indicators to know what's going on. And you'll see it every single time. And when you finally learn how it works, it's going to make trading so much easier, not only to learn, but to do. What you're looking at right here is a list of the fundamental jargon that's constantly getting spewed and regurgitated everywhere. And this is not even all of it. And all of this is constantly spewed over and over. And all of this is pumped into the system in order to just make trading difficult on everybody and to make people think that trading is difficult when it's not difficult at all, because you don't need to know any of this once you finally see what's going on inside the charts that nobody talks about. And when you finally see it, you're going to realize that all of this jargon here is just garbage and a waste of time. But like most people out there who are constantly seeing this stuff over and over by all of these supposed elite traders, they think that this is the only way to go and that this is what trading is all about right here. But they have no idea that all of this is just garbage, brainwashing, and a waste of time that makes trading difficult. And I have over 250 videos that shows you all the proof on why all of this is a waste of time, and that there's a much easier way to learn how to trade and a much easier way to trade. Whereas you can just look at the charts and know exactly what's going on and know exactly where you need to make your trades. You'll be able to see a lot more setups because you'll know and understand what's going on, and you won't have to waste any of your time learning any of this garbage. And here's another reason why trading is so difficult and why the majority of traders fail out there is because they're being brainwashed by all of these indicators as well. And these are all a useless waste of time, because when you finally learn what's really going on in the charts, and when you finally see it and you see the simplicity of it, you'll realize that all of this is just a waste of time. And the other thing is when you finally learn what's really going on inside the charts that nobody talks about, that makes trading child's play, you're going to realize that all of those elite traders out there don't have the slightest clue where things are going. And I'm not saying this to knock them because they are successful, but there's a reason why they are successful. Anybody can learn one setup that unfolds 1 or 2 times a day and only trade that setup every single day, and they can be a highly successful trader. But there's way more than 1 or 2 setups going on in the charts every day. And when you finally see what's really going on in the charts that nobody talks about, that makes trading child's play, you're going to realize that all of this fundamental jargon and all of these indicators is just useless garbage. And when you finally see what's really going on inside the charts, you're going to be able to predict where these things are going, minutes and hours and even days in advance. But not just where they're headed to, but where they're going to go in the process of getting to where you know that they're going to be, in the time span where you know that they're going to end up. And when you finally learn what's really going on inside the charts that nobody talks about, you're not going to be able to watch these gurus trade live anymore, because you're going to realize that you understand the game better than they do. And you're going to want to tell them where things are going, but they're not going to want to listen to you. And then at some point, you're not going to be able to watch these people trade live because it's going to irritate you, because you are going to understand the charts better than everybody else out there. And you'll realize that when you finally learn what's really going on inside the charts that nobody talks about and that makes trading child's play. And once you understand what's really going on inside the charts and you see how easy it is, the only difficult part is going to be inside your mind, because you're just going to be playing against yourself. Because the bottom line is, you could have the absolute easiest trading system on the planet and you can still fail if you have internal things going on that are keeping you from succeeding. People are constantly being conditioned and brainwashed to fail. The system is just not designed for the majority of people to be successful. There's too many what I call brainwashed sheep out there running around buying everything that mainstream media pushes on them. And then when somebody else tells them something that's different than what they've learned from mainstream news media, their brains explode. They can't handle hearing it. And they think that it can't possibly be true, even though it is true. The system wants to keep the majority of people all penned up like little sheep inside of a fenced-in area so that you can't get out. So you just have to ask yourself, do you want to continue being conditioned by all of this regurgitated fundamental garbage and all of these indicators? Or do you want to step outside of all of that garbage and learn what's really going on inside the charts that makes trading extremely easy? And once you learn this, once you see how easy it is, because you're looking at the charts in a whole different perspective, you are going to be blown away by the simplicity and the number of setups that show up every single day that you can take advantage of.